Empty streets, but I keep searching for your trace in the dark. Losing myself in the endless memories of the end right from the start. You're an obsession in my head, I can't forget your eyes. Your kisses burn, my skin feels so empty inside.
Look at those palm trees there.
Don't want to mislead. This is all you need. Be your everything. Then I'll be your everything. Skills will soon fulfill. Please just say it's real. More than just a thrill. Not just in it for the thrill. I'm in for the love. I promise to touch it. Your presence on my mind. Baby, let me tell you something. I'm in it for the love. I promise to touch it. Your presence on my mind. Baby, let me tell you something. I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the love.
Hi, amazing day, everyone. Trust that all is well and doing great, even during this time of the pandemic. Good morning to each and everyone who's here with me today at Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. I am not just sure if we are also live in LinkedIn. Anyway, may I know if you hear me okay before I continue talking? Can you type on the chat box or comment section? Yes, if you hear me okay. Okay. I'd also like to request that you type on the chat box or comment boxes your location right now, although some of you have already typed where they are right now. While I give some introduction about myself and our agenda for today, for those who are in Zoom, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel right now to get a better view of the video since the screen is kind of blurry here in Zoom. But please do maintain your Zoom meeting so you can still participate with the photo opportunity later. Same goes with the people from YouTube and Facebook. I believe there's a link for Zoom where you can also log in later for the photo opportunity after the question and answer portion. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. So let me see first where you are viewing us from. I see there are people from Marikina, Zamboanga City. We have people from Ilocos Norte. Where else? Cavite, Negros Oriental, Quezon City, Baguio City, Pangasinan, Ilocos Sur, Cotabato City, Mindanao, from Manila, San Miguel, Manila, Leyte, Benguet, South Cotabato, Isabela, Nueva Ecija, Mexico, La Trinidad, where else? Cebu, Tacloban, Taguig City. Wow, from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Thank you for tuning in this morning with us here at Limitless Power Coach. Again, amazing morning to everyone. Today's webinar is entitled Introduction to Self-Leadership and in these challenging times. It's on its second run. Perhaps the difference would be on the Q&A portion later, and we will do a timestamp on YouTube for those who already watched the first run. Also, this is actually an introduction to a full course that I conduct with Limitless Power Coach, which is entitled The Basic Skills of Leadership and Management, which is on its 9th run already, happening on October 22. It is a one-day online training. I will give you the details later. Okay. Before I start introducing myself, can you type your answer to my question? Do you think you are a leader? Yes or no? Only a yes or no. If you answer yes, I know you are here perhaps to get some more tips or maybe to affirm what you already know. And for those who answered no, well, maybe you are still not confident to say that you are a leader, but would want to feel and act as one. So I hope this webinar helps. Okay, yes, says Flor, Jeffrad, and Marianne. How about the others? I appreciate those who are participating. Actually, we are like almost 100 here at Zoom. So who else? Okay, most of you said yes and just one no. All right. Well, it's just my way to assess my audience right now. So thank you for those answers. All right, just to get my profile out of the way, an introduction about myself. I am RCee. I'm a graduate of AB Psychology at De La Salle University, and I took my master's in business administration at Ateneo Graduate School of Business. I am a mompreneur, mommy entrepreneur. I am co-parenting to my 4 kids, 3 Marias and a prince. I was previously an HR director to the business of my kid's dad, where we started with 1 branch and grew to 10 branches of grocery chains and distributorship of grocery supplies when I stepped down. From 13 employees, I had to arrange the organizational structure and train people from ground up. And with the demand for recruitment at that time, I founded a manpower contracting and subcontracting in 2014. Right now, we have janitorial services, HR, accounting, online, or digital marketing, among others. So if companies don't want to directly hire staff or personnel, they get our services as we also take care of the equipments and materials needed for the task at hand. Knowing that employees would not only need technical skills, I founded Limitless Power Coach Training and Consultancy in 2016. Initially, it is for our existing employees' self-development, but eventually it already catered other corporations and businesses with soft skills training, management consulting, and events management. Limitless Power Coach offers also marketing provision for, we have hundreds of thousands in our database, which may help your company advertise your products or services. We also partner and or collaborate with resource speakers who want to get audience for their modules or training. Power Coach is a for such as the name implies, diba? And also, I produce an event yearly called Philippine Leaders Conference, which we have held in Clark Marriott Hotel 2 years in a row already. It will now be a virtual online event because of the pandemic. So for those of you who already have a business or is starting one, perhaps you want to get our service or you want to get your service or products out there through us. And I'm a managing director of TR and OGR Corporation. It is a family business started by my mom. It's an acronym of our family's names where the last R is my name as I am the youngest in the family. It was in 1997 when our first restaurant was built. It is a fruit of an initial business, which is fresh poultry and meat distribution. The restaurant was named after my mother, called Tess's Restaurant Events and Catering Services. It can handle reservations for as many as 300 people and is located just in front of Tarlac City. Dampasa Tarlac is also part of the RNOGR Corporation and Dampasa, Pangasinan. So my entrepreneurial spirit is practically hardwired since I was young with the different leaders and leadership exposures I have had in my life, books I have read and videos I have watched that I use and implement on my actual leadership journey. And since I have already said a lot about myself, I would like to know more about you, no? For those who are with me this morning. I will be asking some questions, no? And I hope you answer it as I go with my slides. So please don't hesitate to use the chat boxes or comment section. So basically, we will be discussing these bullet points on Introduction to Self-Leadership, which are the difference of leadership versus self-leadership, importance of self-leadership on your career with whatever status or position you are in. I will also give you 4 tips on how to improve on your self-leadership and discuss 4 skills you as leaders need during these tough times. Basically, leadership is the ability to influence people in order to get things done. Diba? Meanwhile, self-leadership is the ability to consciously influence your thoughts, your own thoughts and behavior in order to achieve your personal goals or an organization's objectives. So you see, the difference is that self-leadership is quite intrinsic sa sarili and doesn't depend on anyone. Self-led people mostly take their own decisions and set personal targets. This ability is typical of entrepreneurs, mentors, top managers, etc. So we say a person has self-leadership skills when he has foresight, no? Foresight. Make the right decisions and choices on his or her own and exhibits dedication towards achieving these goals. Aside from goal setting, self-awareness is another factor that helps make people great self-leaders. Every manager, supervisor, or team leader must possess self-leadership skills, diba? So, next slide. Self-leadership is the first stage or level of leadership. For employees, whether managers or ordinary subordinates, self-leadership is of great importance. Do you agree? Well, as a manager, you receive very little or no supervision, right? This means you should be able to plan and set your objectives on your own, as well as influence your own self to follow those plans. As lower level employee, no, yung mga sa rank and file, you can never be sure the kind of management or leaders you will meet in the course of your career. Despite whatever leadership you may come across, whether laissez-faire, democratic, or autocratic, no, if you are familiar with those leadership styles, well, you should be able to exhibit self-leadership. By the way, yung types of leadership styles will be discussed during the full course training on October 22. Employers usually like workers who can take great decisions on their own and are able to influence themselves to work effectively. I, for one, is an advocate of this. Self-leadership helps make the individual proactive, disciplined, and an independent decision maker. People who have no strong sense of self-leadership tend to feel they are not in control of themselves. Often lack focus and get overwhelmed easily. Usually, ito yung mga mabilis ma-burn out sa work or would usually complain about their managers or employers or bosses. No, parang, ano ba naman yan? Ano bang pinapagawa sa akin ni boss, ni ma'am, ni sir? So, how do we improve on self-leadership? Self-leadership is indisputably a lovable skill. Here are 4 tips that should help you improve on self-leadership skills. First is clarity of purpose. Every leadership or leader has a vision. No? Being your own leader, your purpose or vision will be the foundation upon which you will build self-leadership. Without properly scripted objectives or purpose for your life, you will be a peril or danger. Trying to follow people's plans or ideas for your life, and you end up stuck in the middle of nowhere. I myself was like a headless chicken before. I don't know what I want to do in my life and would just get my goals to achieve from other people. This is especially true with Filipinos, right? Since we have guys and we are usually obedient with our parents. So minsan sila na namimili or nagsasabi ng dapat nating gawin sa buhay, na minsan nawawala na tayo ng sariling identity or personal goals. And in the end, we are not happy with what we are doing. Then sometimes we find ourselves feeling that we don't belong to the organization we are into because we don't share the same purpose or values. Okay? I would want you to write on the chat boxes or comment section now the answer to this question, and I will read it after the second tip on how to improve on self-leadership. The question is, what do you value most? I want your answer to be of a characteristic, like a feature or quality of a person, example, honesty, humility, or compassion. Again, answer the question, what do you value most on the chat box now? Second way to improve on self-leadership is to aim at success and take reasonable risks. Risk-taking is essential aspect of life. Challenge yourself to take on daring projects. Don't discourage yourself with past failures of yourself or others, but instead focus on success. Sabi nga nila, if you fall 7 times, get up 8 times. This is because failure is part of success, di ba? However, there should be reasonable calculated risks that are relevant to your purpose. Let's say in business or entrepreneurship, if your purpose is to have a profitable business so you can help other people by generating employment, and one of your values is responsibility, so that means when we say calculated risk, you make sure that when your plans fails, you still have money to pay for your suppliers or debts that you may have because you must be responsible or accountable, right? Or perhaps you want to be successful in leading a team, and one of your values is fairness. So that means if anyone from the group go astray or is not following the set of rules and regulations, you must do the right thing. For example, dismissing that person to lessen the damages that he or she may be continually causing, but considering the fact that there will be no operational halt or paralyzation. So yung reasonable risk mo is letting go of one team member to uplift the whole by showing fairness. Kasi unfair naman dun sa mga team members na gumagawa ng tama or sumusunod sa rules and regulations, right? So that's our second way on how to improve on self-leadership. Now, let me read your answers to my question a while ago. What do you value most? Okay, let's see. Leah from Facebook said, I value honesty and compassion the most. Okay, let me read the answers from the people here at Zoom. Okay, there are a lot of answers. Integrity, character, attitude, respect, loyalty, compassion is very essential, says Ms. Annie. Family, okay, reputation, patience, relationship. So mostly our integrity, same as mine. I value integrity. Determination, okay, teamwork. What else? Good interpersonal relationship. All right, so most of your answers are those characteristics. All right, thank you for those answers. Now, I want you to write an example of reasonable risk you have had already endured on your leadership journey, or maybe still planning or anticipating to overcome. This question is related to our second tip on how to improve on self-leadership. Write it on the chat or comment box and I will read your answers later. Again, write an example of reasonable risk you have had already endured on your leadership journey, or maybe still planning or anticipating to overcome. Okay, I will read it later. On the third way to improve on self-leadership is spending time to reflect on your life. While you remain the active doer of the things you do, you may see things from your perspective only. So the key here is to take some time off to reflect on your life. Compare the past to the present and the present to the future goals. Until you take a break to analyze yourself, you may never identify certain petty shortcomings. Reflections can also mean allowing someone to make an objective assessment of you. That's why we have evaluations or feedbacking sessions in our organizations, right? I myself keeps a vision board on my phone where I take time to reflect once in a while on how far I am on reaching my goals or how far I have grown from my past failures or shortcomings. The key here also is to have comparison on yourself, like your past self and present self, and not compare yourself to other people. no? So dapat introspective approach. That way, you only focus on improving yourself and not feeling bad about yourself by comparing with other people's progress or achievement. Lalo na, no, kung active ka sa social media and you see people posting yung mga achievements nila and then you compare yourself from that. That's not really healthy. It's more of comparing your past from your present and looking forward to your future. So that's our third way on how to improve on self-leadership. Now, let me read your answers to my question a while ago on giving an example of reasonable risk. Let's see. Pedro said that he disregarded personal emotions for the sake of the team. Perhaps he wanted to be angry or perhaps say something that's not good for the team, but for the sake of the team, hinold back niya muna yun. Am I right? I'm not sure. Julio Appeal said public speaking is something that he wants to overcome or already have overcome. Status of work, relationship, it hinders me to speak to others due to status of one's work. Okay, is this related to that also? Yeah, public speaking, health risks, trying to overcome stage fright and stammering. Oh, that's good, Sherilyn. So perhaps you have to practice more often in speaking to people publicly. Okay, instructions not being followed and you are being misunderstood. Okay, and this one, you have overcome administering of wrong medication to a patient. Or perhaps you are in the medical field. Risk of failure, finding ways to influence everyone to contribute as a team, arguing with my boss for the sake of my members for validation, reason for what he or she have done. Perhaps you are parang kumbaga pinagtatanggol mo yung team mo, no, sa boss ninyo. Well, that's also a good characteristic or something that you can overcome, but you say it in a nice way naman, hindi naman yung pabalang or saying it in a negative note. Okay, try to convince others to have more patience to our customers. Maintaining good leadership within after new leadership. Siguro may change management, sila Miss Annabelle. Work-life balance. Actually, you can't, balance is overrated, no? It's finding, kumbaga, making it work. Kasi work is already part of your life, no? Parang dapat wag mo nang sineseparate yung sarili mo sa work. Kumbaga, it's part of your life. So, get used to it. Hindi yung parang pag pinag-usapan yung work, may stress ka na. Dapat, given na yon, part of your life na siya, di ba? Lack of manpower due to pandemic. Okay, na-overcome or gustong overcome ni John Barcelona. Okay, thank you for those answers and for participating. At least I know you are listening to me. Oh, this one from Facebook. I left my job as a SPED teacher in the public school to serve as a principal in a private school. I transferred from Region 5 and moved to Region 2 where everything is new to me. Wow, that's a great leap, Miss Rhea. Congratulations. Okay, now my question is just answerable by yes or no. No, I just want to know who of you spends time on reflecting on your life regularly. This means daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Kaya nga at least once a year, meron tayong tinatawag na New Year's resolution na most of the time hindi naman na-achieve. But maybe there are people who are accountable and responsible to achieve the goal they have set for themselves. Put yes on the chat or comment box if you do regular reflection. And no if you think you have no time to do self-reflection because you are too busy doing other tasks. I will read your answers later. Okay. Last but not the least on self-leadership is don't tolerate just anything. You cannot put your vision at risk. You should learn to be intolerant of any suggestion or ideas which are not in line with your vision. This intolerance is not towards others only, but yourself too. It includes not tolerating negative aspects of your nature such as laziness, fear, timidity, procrastination, no, etc. Make sure that you push yourself to be a better version of you, one notch or one step at a time. Small progress is better than no progress at all, diba? Don't stop growing and developing yourself as long as you live. So that's the last tip I have on how to improve on self-leadership. Now let's see how many of you do self-reflection. Leia and Danny from Facebook said yes. And people in Zoom said yes. So for those who said no, I hope you do self-reflection because it's very important. Sobrang busy na nga natin, no? Sabi nga nila, especially those leadership gurus, if you don't have 10 minutes of your life to do self-reflection, yung 10 minutes na yun is intended for self-reflection, it means you don't have a life. No? Paano mo malalaman kung saan ka papunta, kung hindi ka nagre-reflect, kung bang saan ka naggaling, nasaan ka na, at saan ka pa pupunta? You will be a headless chicken. No? Yung headless chicken, pag walang ulo, di ba? Tinanggal yung ulo ng chicken, gumagalaw pa rin siya, pero hindi niya alam kung saan siya pumupunta. So, I hope you do self-reflection, no? Especially now, after this webinar, tonight, you assess. You're right. Ako, meron akong notebook na ubus ko na. I'm on my new notebook. I do self-reflections. And it's very healthy that every day, you at least write 3 things that you are grateful for. Para yung stress natin bumababa kasi you focus on what you are grateful for, hindi yung mga problems or challenges that you are facing. Na kahit na merong problems and challenges, meron ka pa ring mga bagay na kailangan pasalamatan. Right? Okay, thank you for those answers. Now my next question is, what bad habits would you like to overcome, or perhaps you are already trying to overcome nowadays? Write it on the chat or comment box and I will read it later. No, bad habits that you want to overcome or is trying to overcome nowadays. Let me share a quote from Lao Tzu that resonates our topic on self-leadership. Let us all remember that mastering others' strength and mastering yourself is true power. You cannot influence others if you yourself have not mastered the authentic leader in you. Do you agree? Well, I do agree. Now, moving on to our last agenda. During this global pandemic, our lives have turned upside down, and it's really made me question if we are tough enough to keep going. This pandemic has rapidly begun to stress test the strength of our infrastructure and economy, our trust in society, and ultimately the resiliency of humanity. However, as the popular saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Unprecedented times like this, where so many of us are being subjected to situations we were never in before. Patience is little and frustrations are high, also present unprecedented opportunity for each of us to show up as a true leader before our employees. No, leaders who strive to evolve themselves and their teams with empathy, trust, and strategic thinking. Okay, leading with empathy is the first skill we need to lead in these tough times. Whether you're a new leader or have been in our current role for some time, it is always advantageous to develop new skills to keep up and stay ahead of the curve, diba? Most time, these skills revolve around thought leadership, effective management, breaking barriers, negotiations, etc. How about adding empathy, no? Empathy to these skills as we evolve and refine them, right? Our employees across the globe have to work from home and care for their children or aging family members while continuing to deliver on their job duties. Now is a good time for leaders of organizations at all levels to have conversations with their employees to better understand their day-to-day situations and provide the necessary support. Make one-on-ones about immersing yourself in the reality of your employees and being thoughtful when asking for deliverables against deadlines. Our organizations should be focused on ensuring the mental health of our members. It should be on top of our mind in all our engagements. And several of our members have been impacted as a result of layoffs or skeletal forces, either directly or through supporting a family member who was impacted by the pandemic. First, acknowledging how difficult this market is, it would go a long way if we as leaders extend a helping hand to all these employees with resources, care, and guidance to help them navigate this difficult environment. You may host virtual meetups, panels, networking opportunities, or even wellness workshops for people to gather, share a drink, and have an opportunity to look beyond their current reality. My team and I made sure we met and ate at the office for the birthday celebrations last July and last month, September. Although we are mostly doing work from home nowadays, we did that, no? So we catch up and see each other once in a while. I also help in my own little way to share my personal resources to those who are affected financially. Okay, that's our first skill we need on leading during these tough times. Leading with empathy. Now let's see your answers on my question. What bad habits would you like to overcome? Procrastination and lack of focus when I am facing a conflicting situation by Leah. What else? Let's see here from Zoom. Okay, most of you, procrastination, celebrate small wins. Yeah, we do this also. That's good, Lucita. Laziness, bahala na attitude, worrying too much. So perhaps Cherry Lou is a worrywart. Well, I hope you overcome that. There's a speaker of we onboarded and he told us yung 5 by 5 rule, meaning kung hindi mo naman yan poproblemahin, no? A shout out pala kay Sir Alex Pedron. He said na kung hindi mo naman yan problemahin 5 years from now, don't even think about it for 5 minutes, no? So don't worry too much. And then what else? Mañana habit. Easily get impatient. Smoking. Yeah, smoking. Please save your lungs. especially now that the virus is attacking the lungs of the people. Burnout, anxiety, I wish you well, Marianne. Sometimes I feel I'm not a good person. Bakit naman? You cannot please everyone. So that's why self-reflection is very important para naman i-reflect mo na you are a good person. Everyone is a good person. You can change behavior. No? Yung behavior pwedeng i-change pero tayo as a person, we are initially good people. Hindi tayo ginawang masama. No? Hindi tayo lumabas dito sa mundo para gumawa ng kasamaan. It is a choice. Okay, being frank and insensitive. Okay, perhaps it depends with the context, no? Too much self-isolation. Dahil ba naka-quarantine tayo ngayon? Or even after quarantine or before quarantine, you self-isolate. Perhaps introvert ka lang, no? Jake, can I say your names? Let me know if you're not comfortable. Okay. Reminder, tough times never last, but tough people do. That's good. That's true, Lucita. Thinking bad for others. Oh, okay. Nako, kailangan iwasan natin yan. Don't judge other people. No? They are not a book. I'm just kidding. Don't judge other people kasi it's a reflection of us. Now, when we are judging people, it's actually sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes, it's our projection of ourselves. Kung ano yung nararamdaman natin, na-project natin sa kanila. So when we are judging them, it's like judging ourselves. So stop it. Losing focus for work, depende sa mood. Okay, perhaps ako, pagka masyado na akong nasa harap ng computer, I stop for a while, I stand up and exercise. And then, for all you know, kaya pala ako hindi tumataba kasi gumagalaw pa rin ako kahit lagi ako nagko-computer. Because na iipon siya, no? In a day, maybe perhaps 5 to 6 times of exercises. Small exercises. Short exercises. Okay, there's a lot of participations, no? I cannot read everything, but thank you for those answers. Okay. Now my next question is, how do you show empathy with your employees? If you are not an employer, or if you are an employer, no? How do you show empathy with your employees or to your team if you are a manager, supervisor, or team leader, or perhaps simply to your coworkers, no? Again, how do you show empathy? That's my next question. Then next here on our slide is be a multiplier. Now it's a great opportunity to bring people within your organization together, no? To liberate talent and develop those employees who are seeking guidance to grow. During these times, focus more on the individuals who make up your team rather than deliverables. With most of your team likely working remotely, investing in your employees with thoughtful mentorship will encourage them to take on challenging opportunities that will help bring improved experiences and benefits to your customers and members. Being a multiplier is one of the key traits of good leadership. Especially when times are tough, it is easy to default to deliverables and deadlines, style of management, thus operating as a diminisher. Being mindful of how you show up before your employees will determine how your employees show up to you. Me and my team have been sharpening our tools at home by developing our technical and digital skills since all are done online suddenly, researching and trying new things to improve on what we do. I, for one, have been trying to develop new sets of skills and encouraging them to do the same. I try to instill in them the yes, we can mindset and attitude, that we should never lose hope. Thus, being creative and innovative should help us get past through these tough times. So I hope all leaders here are multipliers. Now, let me read the bad habits you would like to overcome. Okay, let's see here. They said on Zoom that there's no audio and presentation, perhaps because of the internet, but I believe we have audio and presentation. Okay. Bad habits, let's see. I can't see an answer for that question. Bad habit. Perhaps we're done with that, right? I think the next question is about empathy, right? Oh, my bad. Okay, Chara said, always choose to be kind. Know your staff, says Lisita. Now that I care, but show that I care by listening to them, Merlita said. Listen 90% and response 10%. That's true, Pedro. No? Responding is different from reacting. So response is more thoughtful, no? Pinag-isipan, hindi yung nag-react ka lang basta sa narinig mo. You address concern, you listen, give them enough time to talk, and just listen to their response. Listen and always consider everyone's situation, especially in making decisions that should benefit everyone, says Arsenio. Okay, most of you are saying empathy is shown by listening. We instead of you. Be kind and listen. You have an ear inside your heart. Look at the spelling. You have an ear inside your heart. Okay. So, yung ear nasa gitna ng H and T. That's why she said, look at the spelling. Okay, thank you, Lucita. Listen but do not tolerate. Perhaps if what they're saying is on a negative note, no? Listen and suggest or recommend how to resolve bad habits. Okay, thank you for those response. Okay, so my next question, I have a lot of questions, just to make sure that you are listening to me. My next question is, what aspect of you would you like to multiply to others? What aspect of you would you like to multiply to others? Like for me, I want to multiply the yes, we can mindset to our team. No? Again, write it on the chat or comment box, and I will read it later. Third skill is smart work over hard work. Not being in an office can make it confusing for employees who are used to being seen by their superiors. Now, working remotely, employees are under the pressure to be always on. No, always on. There are memes or there were experiences of some of the people I know na dahil nga chine-check sila if they are online. Oh my God, they put their mouse, they put the mouse with the electric fan, no? Ina-attach na yung mouse sa electric fan just so the mouse moves para makita pagka in-screenshot, nakita gumagalaw yung mouse, alam nagtatrabaho, no? That's the pressure to be always on, no? Whether that is immediately responding to emails through midnight or working through dinner time and family time, no? That's also included. This mentality can start to affect employees' mental state because there is no off button. No 5 p.m. end of the day. No taking the public transportation back home. Employees trying to prove they are not slacking off while at home has resulted in the counter behavior of being always on. Not only is this unnecessary, but it's also unhealthy. So as leaders, it is important that you show up as not being always on. This mentality sets a poor example for your team and puts pressure on them to do the same. Speak to your employees about the value of smart work. No, working on schedules that are reasonable for their work life, complementing work life, no, or if you want to call it work life balance. It's a balance of working on deliverables that drive maximum impact and not feeling the need to impress their bosses or peers by working past what is necessary. Even before this pandemic, I have had trained my team not seeing me in the office, since this is the lifestyle I have set to myself and is part of my goal. But they know I am always available online. I do visit them at the office once in a while and show up personally when they don't expect it. But nonetheless, they know I am more interested on the results than micromanaging them. I show up to those individuals that need guidance with their work and when I need to interfere to help them come up with solutions. But I always involve them with the thought process or on how to resolve challenges so that next time it happens, they know how to go about it better and not to feel helpless and feel the need for me to interfere again. But instead, the scenario would be more of sharing the resolution or the solution they have done and how they came about it. I also have this habit of messaging them late at night, like past midnight or during weekends, but make a disclaimer. No? I make a disclaimer on my messages that it is for the purpose of so I don't forget my messages to them. And they don't need to do it now, but take note that it is for the next working day or next day. That way, they don't feel pressured on answering me right away. So that's working smart over working hard. Now, let me read your answers on what aspect of you would you like to multiply to others. Okay, let's see here from Facebook. Let's see. I want to multiply to my employees that being grateful to our work produces an encouraging great place and atmosphere to work with. It promotes teamwork that makes them feel we are a family, says Programang Pangkaligtasan. Okay, thank you. That's a good a good way to multiply. What else? I want to multiply positivity and risk-taking skills, says Leah. Anna from YouTube says serving, generosity, compassion for people. Very good. Okay. Jig said, go beyond in my job description as long as I can to help others. All right, very good. So you are perhaps has initiatives at work to serve and keep positive to work, says John. Working as a team, be positive, says Marianne. Dedication, says Nancy and Lorna. Perseverance, love your work, being dedicated, says Ryan. To serve and not to be served, says Charo. Very good. Perhaps you are now a servant leader to your community. That's why you have this mindset. Being a team player, says Ashley. Simbas wants to multiply skills and work as a team. Daisy says it's better to be kind than to be right. Okay, very good. Irene says genuine positivity. Junielle says I want to multiply being grateful and positive. That's good. Oh my God, we are on the same boat, everyone, most of you. Okay, Maria Rosaria said the 1% better every day. Does that mean that to look for progress or celebrate short wins or small wins? I want to share them commitment towards work, Merlita says. Show your genuine smile to everyone to maintain positivity, Pedro. Smiling face siguro si Pedro. Oo, magandang nag-smile. Nawawala yung mga nababanat yung ano natin, no? Yung skin. We look younger when we smile more often. Okay, cultivate the we feeling in the team, says Lucita. Okay. Being happy of what you do, not out of obligation. Very good, says Junife. Hashtag happy pagod at work, says Aneka. Okay, responsive, a sense of urgency, says Melody. I want to multiply a principle of nurturing mind and empathizing heart among my subordinates, says Marielle. How to be empathetic to their subordinates, says Cheryl. Angela says agility when responding to situations, creativity, and sense of urgency. Okay, so thank you for those answers. So perhaps I see that we have good leaders here in with me today, this morning. Last but not the least, focus on the big picture. It is easy to get caught up on the smaller details rather than focusing on the big pictures. With patience, generally running risky levels of low, be the leader who always keeps the big picture in mind and enables conversations, priorities, and decisions to move the bigger needle and let the little things go. Being the visionary that you are as a leader, make sure the focus of the team don't get blurry during tough times by reminding them of the bigger picture of what you are all trying to do or achieve in the company, by letting them be reminded of the mission and the objectives of the organization. So this is my last slide before our question and answer. Now let me see your examples on how you work smart over working hard. Did I ask that question? I think I did not. Perhaps I will wait for your answers. My question is, give an example on how you work smart over working hard. How do you work smart over working hard? Let me see. And also, perhaps you can start thinking of your questions so I can answer them right away after I read your answers to my last question. Okay, time management, doing things one at a time. Yeah. Okay, balancing urgent and important matters, setting priorities. If you do now, do now. If you maybe he wants to say if you can do it now, do it already. Priority versus important. Maximize idle time to finish tasks instead of waiting for the time set. Okay, very good. So perhaps most of you is related to time management and then delegation. That's true. So when you delegate work, make sure that you follow up, not only give them the task and then forget about it. Always be reminded of the due date or deadline. Be organized and implement 5S. That's true. No, you should sort the things. Dapat malinis ang inyong working place so that when you are looking for something, it doesn't take too much of your time. And then another thing is yung mga me personally, the hard copies, I make sure that it's also in the computer as soft copies or cloud, nasa cloud para pag may hinahanap ka, just type on the subject title so you can find it easily. Okay, what else? Okay, I think most of you said related to time management. Okay, thank you for all of those who participated on answering all my questions from the beginning. So let this be your takeaway. As a leader, it is important to evolve and promote a mindful and supportive culture during this uncertain time. Show up as the leader your team needs by leading with empathy, trust, and strategic thinking. Okay, this is my next slide. And I think we still have time, an ample of time for Q&A. Maybe I could answer one or two. You can write it on the chat box, your question. Okay, I will wait for perhaps a minute for your questions. Just to share with you, if you want to add me to your Facebook, this is my page. The one that is showing on the screen. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, about the certificate, I will announce it later, but I will also give the answer now since we still have time. You can contact the admin for e-certificates. It is actually not free for everyone's knowledge because we are doing free webinars actually to also for those who want to get e-certificates, we have like a COVID-19 fund drive, and we help organizations related to the pandemic, no? So you can donate any amount from your generous heart. You can contact the admin so they can assist you further. So I guess the admin already sent the link here at Zoom. Perhaps they will also send the link to Facebook and YouTube. Okay, do you have questions? I can't see any question. So if not, let's move forward to the next slide. Okay, here. There's a question. What could you suggest to a first-time project leader like me? That is a very big question. But first of all, do you see yourself doing that position? Hindi ka naman ba napipilitan? Is it part of your goal as a person, personally? Kasi kung hindi, mababurn out ka dyan sa pinasukan mo na first time position mo. But if you want to overcome it, then accept it wholeheartedly. Do a reflection, no? A prayer is a form of reflecting. Nga yung mga ibang tao, sasabihin nila, ipagdadasal ko yan. No? Or pagka nag-decide na sila, pinagdasal ko na yan. So my question is, ito ba ang pagiging project leader mo? Pinagdasal mo na? Or na-reflect mo na ba na ito ang talagang gusto mong gawin? Kasi kung yan talaga ang gusto mong gawin, whatever it takes, whatever the challenges are, you will face it without fear. No? You will face it with courage. Sabi nga natin, no, fear is doing it anyway, no? Kahit na natatakot tayo. I mean, courage is having fear, but doing it anyway. So, what else? What are the best character or attitude of a great leader? Di ba, iba-iba nga ang ating mga, we have unique, what do you call this? Anyway, nawala nasa thought ko, nakalimutan ko yung term, pero iba-iba tayo, no? We are made unique, no, by God. So that means the answer for this question is it depends, no? Kaya nga, tinuturo din natin sa online training, dun sa full course, what are the different leadership styles? Okay? But if we will have, we consider ourselves as a leader, leadership is a journey. Meaning, nag-transform tayo as we go along with our leadership journey. So there's no specific answer to that question kasi lahat tayo iba-iba. Pero if you want an answer in a context na what should be my leadership style during this situation, well, may answer doon, no? So for example, just to give you an example, you have an experienced employees, no? So wala pa silang experience, they need a lot of guidance. So perhaps your leadership style should be autocratic, no? Yung medyo dictador in a way. So you will manage them in a way na you impose things because you know that they lack experience yet, but in a way na you would transform, no, to a leader din na you say it in a nice way, no? Your behavior should not be like dictator naman na parang, gawin mo yan, pag di mo yan ginawa, lagot ka sa akin. Hindi naman gano'n, no? In a nice way pa rin, no? So, depende sa sa character mo rin yan or personality. How to deal with your heads if the situation already raised to them without your... Dali, I-absorb ko yung question. You are being called. What do you mean by this? How to deal with your heads if the situation already raised to them without your immediate supervisors knowing it. You're being called in the office even without knowing the reason why. Okay, so what is the question? So then go to the office and talk with them. You know, leaders are very good communicators. Hindi ka dapat matakot kung wala ka naman tinatago or ginawang masama, right? So it's very important that you communicate well. You are transparent with how you feel and do the right thing. No, do the right thing. Just communicate. Yung iba kasi natatakot, no, lalo na yung mga hindi pa confident sa position nila or being a leader, hindi pa sila confident. Kapag pinatawag sa office, medyo yun na, nagiging worry-wart na. Isipin na, ano naman sasabihin ni ma'am, ni sir, ano ba yung ginawa ko, no? Hindi na makatulog, yung gabi na bago yung meeting, hindi na siya makakain, hindi na makatulog, feeling niya, maaalis na siya sa trabaho. Well, that's not the mindset of a leader. If you are a leader, you have an abundance mindset. You know your worth, no? Because you are self-aware. Alam mo kung sino ka. Alam mo yung worth mo as a worker, as a tao, no? And that way, you know, even if this work doesn't work for this job doesn't work for you, you know na meron kukuha sa iyo, no? Alam mo kasi yung worth mo no? Kasi meron kang abundance mindset. Alam mo na even without kung hindi nila na-appreciate yung ginagawa mo, there will be people or organizations that will appreciate you or your skill. So, communicate. That's my answer. Okay, what is the difference of good leader to a great leader? Well, sabi ko nga sa inyo, no, you compare your past, present, and future. Kaya nga pinag-uusapan natin ngayon is self-leadership. Don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to your past and then your present. No, sa palagay mo ba, good leader, naging mas mabuti kang leader ngayon than previously? Paano mo malalaman? No? Kasi nga, good to great. Paano mo malalaman? By feedback and how you feel, no, as a person. Do you think tumaas ang worth mo sa sarili mo? And makikita mo yan, mas marami ka bang natutulungan? Mas nakakatulog ka ba ng mas maayos tuwing gabi dahil alam mo na maraming nagmamahal sa'yo? Well, that in itself will already indicate that you are doing a good job being a leader to yourself, to your family, to your organization. Oh my God, there's a lot of questions, but I think due to time constraint, I will just post the admin will just post the questions to our YouTube channel, and then I will try to answer it there. So I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kanina kasi ayaw mag-question, tas bigla maraming question. But I appreciate that. That means you are engaging. So I will try to answer those to our YouTube channel. So let me share this slide. No? Again, thank you, fellow leaders, for listening and staying with me this morning. Before our photo opportunity here at Zoom application, and I would like to get this time to invite you on October 22. It's a Thursday. I will be conducting an online training full course on the 9th session of the basic skills of leadership and management. The objectives of the full course is listed on the screen. Register as soon as possible to get discounted price. This already includes an e-certificate, and on face-to-face training before COVID-19, it is actually 3,000 per person, but now it is 1,500 on a regular rate. For more details, I believe the team sent you a link on the chat box. Also, if you would want to get an e-certificate for today, again, you may contact the admin. And for those watching in Facebook and YouTube, the admin will also send the registration link there. For those who want to book me to talk in a webinar for your audience, I do accept bookings for 30 minutes to maximum of 1 hour for free on topics related to leadership, but I need at least 100 participants for that. Me and my team can help you with the registration and administration if need be. If you are interested, just contact me on the email address provided on the screen. All right. Once again, thank you and have an amazing time for the rest of the day. I will be turning off the share screen now, and we will end YouTube and Facebook already while I join the people from Zoom for the photo op. For those who are in YouTube and Facebook, you may log into Zoom if you want to join us. The link is provided by the admin. Okay, bye YouTube and Facebook viewers. Hope to see you